Good afternoon, everyone. Jason here. Today is October 21st, and I wanted to go through with you a trade that we took here today, a very good trade, 20 ES points times 2 lots. And again, we took this trade in front of a live audience, and that's the way we take all of our trades here. In fact, this YouTube channel that you're on here watching this video is full of trades taken in front of a live trading audience. Also, I want to focus your attention on the P&L there at the top of those price ladders. Again, the P&L is prominently displayed throughout the entire session, and you'll see that here today. In fact, you're going to notice that when I get into this trade, once I show you the video that we took of the actual trading session, you're going to see that I am down ticks as we head into that trade here today. So let's talk about this particular trade. Now, we've been spending quite a bit of time working with some of our room members on the market maker levels and some examples. And so this is going to be a good video to serve as examples for that. Now, you're going to see a couple of things on this chart. In fact, right now what you see is a set of levels that have the designation of RTH. Now, those are our market maker levels. And if you're not familiar with our market maker levels, if you spend some time on the website, we kind of explain what those levels are and how and why they work. Now, there's also a green shaded area on this chart, and that was very important here today. So let's do this. I'm going to bring over this RTH profile here, and we're going to take a look at the value areas. All right, so right here, this day, this was yesterday, this green shaded box represents the value area from yesterday's trading session. And if you merge this with the prior day's profile, you have this 2-day kind of composite, if you will, value area, and that is shaded in blue. Now today, that blue area and green area line up on the downside, and the 2-day composite is a bit bigger a bit bigger of a value area than the prior day. All right, so that is an important component. I'm also going to show you here, we have a set of trade plans that we put out every day. And if you look here at the ES, one of the things that I talk about here today, or as we were getting through, is that we had a big picture scenario. The big picture is the market is rotational or sideways. And that we said from the overnight session, the market was rotational with a bearish lean. Now, when the market is rotational, like we have seen it here over the course of the last several days, it is a good plan or a good idea to play the edges or the extremes or the top of the ranges. And so we were aggressively looking at this top of the value area and our market maker level, the RTH signal. However, we were also a little concerned that the edge might be the 2-day composite area, which is this blue area up here. Now, the market opens up, and this is when the market opens. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up bars right into this zone up here. Now, this is also being reflected here in your delta, right? So this is your delta. That's the open, and you had several bars leading into the open where the buyers were being more aggressive than the sellers. Now, and we don't have time to go through all of this here today, but there is a reaction, generally speaking, when you get back to the 0 level on the delta. And so that's kind of where we get into, right? The market comes back up to 0 and then begins this process of kind of chopping around, and then you get the rollover. Now, this begins at, we hit that level at 8:45 a.m. So if you come back over here and look at your chart, and we were watching this in real time here today, there is 8:45 right here, right? So the market hits 0, price begins to go sideways, or the delta begins to go sideways as price is trying to push higher and really can't push any higher. So again, if you kind of look at it, these are the same time frames. There's the 8:45. Market begins to try to push higher, push higher, push higher, and the delta is beginning to level out and then starts this process of rolling over. So it is a reason why I was aggressive up here. There was a couple of reasons why I was aggressively getting short. Now, I have this philosophy of small stops, big targets. And so what happens when you have smaller stops, sometimes you're going to be stopped out before the actual move occurs. But I am undeterred when I see that the market is, again, exhibiting these patterns of beginning to try to roll over. I continue to stay aggressive with my entry. And so what you're going to see when I play this video for you of the trade that was taken in front of a live trading audience, I'm going to be down a few ticks as we get started into this process. But one of the clues here was that we never closed above the prior day value area high. In addition to that, we were not pushing any higher and we couldn't get through the day's high. So again, I took a short and I got a 2-point stop. I got short, had another 2-point stop. And again, I get short and it finally broke in my favor. So again, if you were in the day trading chat room and sometimes you wonder, well, why does he keep doing that? Well, why is he continuing to get short after he takes these small stops? And the reason I did today was that the delta was giving us a very good clue along with price action. We were not closing above that value area high and we could not push through and make a new high. And so we got in here. Now this trade that you're going to watch here today was about 2 hours in length. In fact, one of the behavior patterns, well, let me stop here and say that it was about 2 hours in length and it took about that long to get down to our target. Now, how did we go about determining the target here today? Well, one of the things that we look at is we look and say, gosh, if you are in those rotational kind of positions, and I showed you on the trade plan that we said we thought we were rotational with an overall bearish lean, then what you are going to be looking for is a trip down to the other side of value. Well, today that other side of value was down here at 31.75, and that was going to be the initial targeting area that we were looking at. One of the other things that we talked about is the uncomfortable pullback. Sometimes you get an uncomfortable pullback. In fact, this was the most uncomfortable pullback right here. We were in at 54. The market came down to 47.5 and then rallied back up to almost 52. Right, so you were 7 points and it pulled back almost 5 points. Those are uncomfortable pullbacks. But if you understand what the logic is in what we are doing and why we are doing it and why those targets are where they're located, then it gives you an ability to hang on. Also, there was really no reason from a delta perspective to be looking to get out, right? You get pullbacks. Here was a little pullback in delta, a little pullback in delta here. But it was a very strong move to the downside. And again, this is representing very aggressive sellers, and the sellers were aggressive at that point in time. Now, we did take the target at 20 points instead of holding on for the bottom of the value area down here at 31.75. And the primary reason for that is, let me put this on a 15-minute chart. The primary reason for that is we were running into the monthly volume weighted average price down here around 35, and you had the prior day open and you had an opening price here as well, and you could see how many bars rotated around that area. So we didn't want it to bounce off the prior day open and the volume weighted average price for the month and then have it pull back some. I didn't want to give up 10 points to try to get 2 extra points, so I ended up taking it off at an even 20 points. Now, I'm going to show you that trade here in a minute. Again, like I said, the trade itself was nearly 2 hours. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you where I get in. I'm going to chop that trade down into pieces. Then I'm going to speed up the tape, put some music behind it, and let you see exactly how the trade was managed. You're going to get a good sense of how we were managing the trade. And in addition to that, you'll see where it is that we get out, and you'll see that price ladder matches what you see on the price ladder here as well. So again, the lesson out of today's trade is choppy conditions, top of the range, market maker level, and cumulative delta began to roll over in our favor. So without further ado, here is that OTG trade of the day. And at 54. And at 54, one more time. We're trying it again. Again, I got stop run through that. Feel like I got stop run. I had a stop run up through that point of control up there. This time I'm going to get aggressive on the stop if we get back through it here. That was up to 57.25. The 52.5. Let's put the stop for now at 57.5 for now on the stop. But I'm going to get aggressive with it here in a minute.